Saturn, I'm CorporalSaturn here, and welcome back to Pokemon Sinking Sapphire. Today's episode is going to be a story interlude episode. This is basically going to be the point where you basically have a lot of free time to just kind of stop and go and do what you want to do, so that's what we're going to do. I want to say right off the bat that there are two areas I'm not going to be covering for encounters because, one, I've just forgotten about, and there's not a whole lot of good stuff there by this point anyway, and two, I'm not going to be going over the encounters in the area where we caught our Volcarona, because it's this weird mishmash of stuff you could already technically find, but I will be mentioning them. I'll be mentioning any honorable mentions right now. So, the first area that I promised we'd explore and we didn't get to was the Granite Cave. Granite Cave is full of a lot of mad Pokemon, and at this point, there aren't a whole lot of really good ones for this late in the game. However, there are honorable mentions are going to be Zubat, which is a fast physical attacker. It's a poison flying type. There's Aron, which is a very defensive rock steel type. It's pretty good offensively too. It has a Mega, can't go wrong with that. Axew, which is a very good dragon type. Almost all of the dragon types are good. It's the Gen 5 pseudo legendary. Abra, which is a special attacker that is also very fast. And Geodude is a pretty good Pokemon as well. And you can also find Cyndaquil in hordes. As you go deeper into the cave, you can find more evolved forms of Pokemon you've previously been able to find. But other than that, there's really not a whole lot of great stuff in the Granite Cave. And then in the what's it called? Scorched Slab. The only other new Pokemon besides Volcarona is its pre-evolved form, Larvesta. So there's really not a whole lot of stuff we missed in those two areas. But I will be going back and doing those on my own time, because I need to, I want to complete the Pokedex, because I want a shiny hunt in this game, and, and whatnot. Also, for the Safari Zone, you're going to need to, unfortunately, fly back and switch bikes every so often. There is a way to get both bikes in this game, but I was looking up how to do it, and you can't actually do it until the post-game, which is stupid. It'll be a lot more useful during the main story, but, it is a nice post-game reward. I did go through and catch all of the Pokemon that I needed to catch for this video, okay, so, first things for the story interlude, before we actually go over the encounters, is, this is the time where you're going to want to do not any last minute training, but this is the best possible break to do some last minute training that you'll get, because you're just kind of in the middle of a story event. So Lily Cove City's got some cool stuff. There's a bunch of houses and trainers and stuff. One of the first things you want to do when you get here is actually talk to your rival, because they will challenge you to a fight, and if you once you beat them in a fight, you'll be able to go into the department store, where you can get a lot of good items and stuff. I don't know if blah 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 blah. Really? No, you doubt me? Harsh. I didn't doubt you. Anyway, yeah, so oh god damn it. So this is, I think, one of the last rival battles in the entire game. Oh wow, she's a full team of 6. Okay. I'm trying to think about stuff to say before I cut away, because this is an important battle, so I want to show it. But at the same time, it's, this video is going to be pretty long on its own already. So, okay, so after you beat her, you're going to have access to the department store. There's a lot of good items in there. You're going to want to stock up on anything that you want to see fit, because the department store is one of the best places to buy stuff. If you want to do contests, you can go do that now. You want to make Pokeblocks to evolve a Feebas, go ahead and do that now. I realize I'm making it sound like this is going to be the last point in the game where you can do any of this stuff. It's not. This is, quite honestly, the best. This is the perfect place to really break away and do that stuff. My phone just went off. It probably shouldn't be checking it in the middle of a recording, but it might be important. It might be my mom. Oh, God. Oh, okay. Alright, so, oh, God, why? Double protect? Oh, my fucking God. I was gonna get triple protect now. Watch. No, okay. Yeah, so, anyways, I was saying, it's really the best place to do it, because, like, you're in this big town, there's like not like branching paths, but sort of like, I don't know. It just, to me, this feels like, naturally, this feels like the best place to do it, because there's a Safari Zone where you can catch a bunch of new Pokemon, You now have fly, so you can go wherever you want. So this is the perfect time to, you know, fly back and go get any Pokemon you may have missed, if you're doing a complete Pokedex run, and stuff like that. So with that being said, I don't think that the only other thing I can think of that we need to show is the Trick House, but that'll probably get its own episode, where I do all of them at once. Where I do all of the challenges at once. So, oh, damn it, I didn't heal up Swampert in between. Oh, sweet, it lived. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, this is the perfect place because you have fly now, you have access to, you know, you're in this big hub town, you have the access to the Safari Zone, which we're going to go over encounters for. We're going to go over encounters for Route 122. Raichu is a very fast Pokemon, and I want nothing to do with that, so I'll send it to the Wreck House. And, yeah, so, like I said, like I keep saying, I'll just cut to when we're done with this battle, and I'll see you guys in a second. Oh, so I forgot about this. In this fight, May actually have your rival has their Mega Starter, which means that it's a Dragon type, which means that this Heat Wave is only going to be neutral effective, but it doesn't matter because Mega Sceptile is quite honestly one of the most useless Megas to exist ever, and that's just my opinion. But that Dragon typing doesn't do it any favors. Lightning Rod as an ability is pretty good, but it's not great. Honestly, Mega Sceptile is just kind of like, it's okay. It's not terrible, but it could have been done a lot better. Anyway, the battle's over anyway. So, yeah. Another thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to train it. This is probably a good place to you know grind up your Pokemon, because this is now you should probably have your full team of 6. And again, someone's talking about the meteorite. Yes, that's exactly what I plan to do. So, well, I'm gonna be completing the Pokedex as well, man. But anyway. So, yeah. Train your Pokemon, you know, because you've probably, like I said, you have probably all 6 members of your team by now. And if you're asking me what level you should grind up to, this is Sinking Sapphire, so over-leveled is probably good. If you have the patience, I grind up to like level 70, and regular Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, if you're like level 60 or 65 by now, you're probably fine. I literally finished the game in a week, so I don't remember. And here we are in the department store. The bottom floor is the lottery, or you can, you know. So on the first floor of the department store, you have, you know, it's basically like your normal Pokemart and Mega Stones, because Street Pass is disabled for this ROM hack. So I'll just go ahead and show you what Mega Stones you can actually buy, because you can't get these through normal methods. And there was actually a little bit of lag, because probably having something to do with the fact that you can get all these Mega Stones. They're 28,000 Poké-Dollars a pop. It's a nice balance for not having to go hunt them down. Second floor is, I think, I'm actually not sure what the second floor is. I think medicines, maybe? Oh, so second floor is these evolutionary items, including we can buy heart scales, which is awesome. You know, because there was that move tutor back in Falibor, which requires heart scale. Here are some fairly useful TMs. I feel like the department store was very much changed. Third floor, I think this is medicines. Nope, still wrong. These are TMs, more good TMs. I think you just also sell TMs, right? Yep. And then fifth floor, okay, yeah, and there might not be a medicines floor anymore. Oh wait, wow, there are 4. So this this is decorations. Yeah, so I guess the medicines floor is gone because you can't actually edit the map in this game. I know you can edit NPCs, but I don't think you can create them out of thin air. So I'm not gonna be doing much of anything with this because, like I said, I don't really care all too much about the secret base because it's a wireless feature and you can't do much of anything with it at all. So there's that. Anyway, That's pretty much everything I wanted to cover in Lily Cove City. There's some houses, there's a fan club. There's not really anything. Oh, this right here is the Moves Leader's house. If you have a Pokemon with an HM you want to get rid of, you can take it there. I might actually do that for Victory Bell. There's the contest hall. There's really not a whole lot of stuff of interest. There's this motel where the game developers stay in the post game. There's a fan club here somewhere. There's the beach down here. You can fish, but there's really not anything great you can get yet, because we don't have the final fishing rod. There's a lighthouse over here. But I think I'm going to stop dawdling, and we're finally going to go over the encounters for the Safari Zone. Now, like I said, the Safari Zone and Route 121. And I think that's going to be about everything I'm going to want to cover. So, this, like I said, this is probably going to be a very short episode. But, you know, this is just kind of a story interlude. This is where I'm going to get everything done that I want to get done, you know, before we actually move on with the story. You know, I'm going to go back and do the stuff that we missed. So, here on Route 21, let's go ahead and do the encounters. Alright, so here on Route 121, we're going to go over the encounters. Persian, I believe we've been able to find Meowth before, so there's nothing too new here. We've got Herdier, which evolves from Lillipup. Again, nothing new. I've talked about Lillipup before. We've got Shuppet and its evolved form, Banette. Banette has good mixed attacking stats and kind of crap defenses. It doesn't have the best mixed attacking stats. Like I said, they're pretty good, but they're not great. It has a Mega, which makes its attacking stats a lot more useful. It's an interesting ghost type with a tragic backstory. But it's not bad, but I think that there are better. If you really wanted a ghost type, I would have gone for either Ghastly or or wait a little bit longer for another Pokemon that we can get in the what's it called? In one of the next areas, which is actually coming up very soon, probably the next episode. You've got Zebstrika. We've been able to find Blitzel before, so there's no need to talk about this guy. Liepard, no need to talk about. We've already talked about its pre-evolved form. We can find Hypno. We've already been able to find Drowsy. I've already talked about Shuppet. Mayan, we've already talked about in the form of Poochyena, and I believe that's all of the Pokemon on Route 121. Alright, so those are the encounters for Route 121. Route 122 is just to our south. There's nothing new there that you can... Well, actually, there are new Pokemon. There's one new Pokemon you can find, and it's Lapras. Lapras is a very good Pokemon. It can learn a lot of attacks. It's a good water type. Even if it doesn't get a stat increase, I'd say try it. It learns a lot of HMs naturally. It's a good Pokemon. And below that is Route 123, which does have some Pokemon on it. I don't believe any new ones, but I could be wrong. Because we've been able to find Pineco, we've been able to find... Well, I'll go over the Pokemon there anyway. So, anyway, next up is going to be the big, list of big thing to tackle. And that's going to be the Safari Zone here. Now, the Safari Zone is divided up into 4 areas. When you first step in, it's actually considered Area 4. To our left is Area 3. Then it's Area 1. It goes 1. So I'll put the grid up on screen. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just gonna just keep that in mind when we're going over the encounters. I'm gonna be going over them 4, 3, 1, 2. Yeah. Anyway, let's go over the encounters for the Safari Zone. Alright, I'm gonna just do all the Safari Zone in one go. So we've got Breloom here, which we've already talked about. We've got Toxicroak, same deal. Gastrodon, Pidgeotto, Lotad, and Swalot. Next up, we've got Bibarel, which we've already talked about in the form of, when we talked about Bidoof. We've got Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet's an interesting Pokemon. Wobbuffet cannot attack your field directly. It has a lot of HP and not really good. It's got okay defenses. It's got Counter Mirror Coat, which means the only way it can deal damage is by returning damage it's already taken. It's kind of a meh Pokemon, and it's really kind of just annoying to fight and annoying to look at. But that's just me. You can also find Wynot and Hordes. I don't know why you'd look for Wynot when you could just find Wild Wobbuffet, but okay. Next up is going to be Golduck. You can also find Psyduck, but we've already been able to find Psyduck. We've already kind of talked about this, but it's just, it's fast. It can hit pretty hard with special attacks. If you've never done it before, you just try it now. Got Girafarig, which is the same way spelled forward as it is spelled backwards. It's pretty fast. It's got mixed attacking stats. I don't know. I mean, it's not bad. If you've never used it before, I'd say go for it. It'll give you a challenge. I've already talked about Xatu and Natu. Already talked about Donphan when we talked about Phanpy. Already talked about Houndoom. Already talked about Granbull, Ledian, Ariados, and Noctowl. We've already talked about Flaffy. We've already talked about Doduo and Dodrio. Here's a... Alright, next, new Pokemon we've got here is gonna be Execute. It's pretty good. It's got high special attack and high HP. It gets Chlorophyll, which means you can boost its speed. It's pretty much a pure special attacker. It's not bad. It didn't fail and leave green, but there are better options, but it's definitely something to try if you've never tried it before. Especially with the new Alola thing. The new Alola form, so that's pretty cool. Right on Nidorino and Nidorino, we've already talked about kind of with their pre-evolutions. We've already talked about Parasect, we've already talked about Venomoth in the form of their pre-evolutions, and the last new Pokemon here is going to be Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan can hit pretty hard, it's pretty fast. The real draw is the fact that it gets a Mega Evolution that can attack twice. It actually got banned from Spoken Metagame, although I'm kind of sick of Spoken Metagame at this point, to be honest. They're ban happy, but that's a different thing altogether. I've never used one in game. Definitely try it. But yeah, it's hard to go wrong with this guy. So that's everything in the Safari Zone. As you can see, it pretty much fills up an entire box. There are a lot of good options for team members here. It's a good place to train in general. And yeah, so that's gonna do it. Okay. So now that that's done, we're done here. This is a pretty okay place to train if you want to. And yeah. So, next up on the list of things is going to be to head down. That's not the right way. We're going to head down to Route 123 and do the last of things I wanted to cover for this episode. Like I said, it's actually a lot shorter than I envisioned it would be. But it's still, you know, this is before, of course, I record the bits about the encounters. And, you know, so there's that. And... yeah, so Mount Pyre, this is where we're supposed to go, but we're going to go down to Route 123, because apparently there's some new Pokemon that we have to... I guess there's new Pokemon there that we might need to go over. Alright, so here we are on Route 123. The grass is right here. Here it is. So let's see, on this route, oh, there we go, new Pokemon already. Oh, we've already found it, we've already seen it before. Ah! Alright, so here on Route 123, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything super new, because we have, Vibaro, which we found in the Safari Zone, Kricketune, which we've already been able to find Kricketot, Sudowoodo, which you've already caught Bonsly, Mr. Mime, which we've already caught Mime Jr., Pansear, Panpour, and Pansage are three elemental monkeys. They're new Pokemon, so they all have very similar stats. They all learn different moves based on their types, obviously. They were introduced in Generation 5, and they're sort of like, you know, counterparts to the starters, but they're not really that great. You know, they're not, I guess they're not terrible. They're pretty good. I mean, this late in the game, I'd kind of recommend staying away from them, but they're not, you know, like I said, they're not terrible. You could probably get away with using one if you needed to. Next up is our Purugly and Skuntank. We've been able to find Glameow and Stunky before, and then there's Fortress, which is the evolved form of Pineco, which we've been already able to find. So that is every Pokemon on Route 123. That's everything I wanted to do in a nutshell. There are some trainers here, which I am going to take care of off-screen. I'm going to basically go through and do some grinding off-screen, and that's going to do it for this episode. So that's going to end today's mission. Your next mission, should you choose to accept it, just leave a like and a comment on this video. I'm sorry that this episode was kind of, you know, weird and disjointed, but like I said, it's a story interlude. I'm just taking care of some things, going over some things that I missed. And, yes, but with all that being said, I'm going to get up out of here.